Sweet. All right, my name is Michael Haag, and I work for Red Canary. We created a project, thank you. We created a project last summer or so called Atomic Red Team. And the idea of the project is to help organizations test their security posture and focus on the endpoint because we're an endpoint company. And so what it is a it's an open source project. You can go and get it today. It's atomicredteam.io. You can download it and use it. And so this talk is going to highlight a lot about that and a little bit about myself as well. So again, my name is Michael Haag. I do not have a beard, and I'm not Santa Claus. The last year and a half, we've been traveling the country. We lived in an RV for about 19 months. We actually just settled here in Boise. And this is where we've been. This is our map on our RV. And so we've been kind of all over the place, lots of different states, Maine and Florida. Our idea was to find a place where we want to end up and settle and raise our kids. And so during that whole time, we were working on Atomic Red Team and other things within the organization. But kind of where Atomic comes from. Overview of this talk, just going to discuss why testing is important. I'll stop making feedback. Common roadblocks with that, and look at part of the tool set that we produce within the project itself. And hopefully, at the end of this talk, you walk away with the ability to test yourself within your own organization and see how your posture really is. And mapping it to MITRE ATT&CK. Part of our travel, we went to, as you saw, most every state. One of them was Nevada, and Nevada actually has the National Atomic Testing Museum. Has anybody ever been there? Awesome. Anybody ever traveled the country in an RV? Kind of, it's awesome. So this museum is great. It highlights a lot of stuff I didn't even know about atomic testing and what we did in the past and how we tested our nuclear weapons and built things and blew all kinds of things up and how we did it. And atomic testing for us is not meant to make the biggest explosion in your organization with Atomic Red Team. We're not saying call in the Red Team, call in or have your own APT or your own internal pen test or whatever it may be. We're not looking to blow it up. That over there is the Trinity test site. That's a picture from the museum. It would be a little dim, but if you Google Trinity test site, it's out in New Mexico. It's out in the middle of nowhere, and they allow like once a year tours of the actual site, this at the time was the largest atomic bomb that had went off. But we're not going to do that within our organization. What we want to do is have more granular tests, more singular tests, where you're able to test a particular part of the MITRE ATT&CK matrix. Has everybody heard of the MITRE ATT&CK? Of MITRE ATT&CK? Okay. So MITRE ATT&CK, MITRE came out with this attack framework. It has different tactics, and then underneath each tactic is techniques. And the technique could be PowerShell execution, it could be regsurf32, different things built in with Windows and Mac and Linux. So you're able to test it. And with Atomic Red Team, with the way we mapped it, you'll see in a little bit, you can execute simple tests just like they did with atomic testing in Yucca Flats. So in Yucca Flats, they actually, instead of blowing them up on land or stratospheric atomic bombs, they moved it to underground atomic testing. And so they did about, I'm going to say 850 different atomic tests underground. And so the idea is within your organization, instead of calling in a pen test or a red team, paying lots of money, you can use Atomic Red Team to come in. You guys can execute it yourself, perform your own testing within your business. So the atomic test is a small one attack technique that you're able to pick. You want to focus on PowerShell this week, get your team together, find some PowerShell techniques, different methods that people are using out there, whatever you're seeing in the wild, go through that. They're all easy to execute. Most of the framework's filled out today. I think there's about 220 techniques in MITRE ATT&CK. We have about 115. And each one is, there's like 3 or 4 in each or more. And then also to be able to measure, because you want to be able to take this up to management and show them that you're running these tests, you're showing that we have coverage, little coverage, or no coverage on these types of techniques. And so that's kind of the goal of this project, is to help you be able to take that to the top of my mind. So testing your coverage is fundamental to improving your security outcomes. The idea is that you shouldn't have to pay 20, 30, 50 grand or 10 grand for a giant test to come in and tell you a point in time scenario about your environment. The idea is to continuously test your organization, understand what's being prevented coming in, and then what's being prevented going out. So it's all open source and free and easy, right? You just need to build out a quick little lab, and then you're able to more or less get started. So we all have significant investment in our products. I ran a Fortune 150 security program, and it was $1 million program. We had tons and tons of money to blow on everything, but we did it. We took this approach of where do we need coverage, what's most important in our program that we need to have a new product. Do we have to buy a product? Is there something built in that we can use? And so it's kind of like a lot of past built into why we built Atomic Red Team. And this resonates with everybody on the team who works with us. So hope is a feeling, it's not a strategy. We all hope our products are working. We all hope that they're preventing everything that they say they're going to prevent with their ML and AI and unicorns and everything like that, right? So this isn't my quote, but I feel really bad for these guys down there watching this atomic blast, right? I mean, I just couldn't imagine. There's other pictures. You ever Google atomic test pictures? It's super interesting. Dudes just hiding behind cement barriers with little goggles and military out there. Some of the background images, you'll notice that too. So how do I know it's working? It's missing text there. You test yourself, but how? Oh, there's a button for it. So we need ongoing iterative testing, objective measurement, low barrier for entry, introducing atomic red team, which we've been discussing. So it's open source, discrete test, all mapped to MITRE ATT&CK framework. Roberto Rodriguez produced a spreadsheet. You can find it, we have them on our blog posts and whatnot. His spreadsheet covers how to hunt against MITRE ATT&CK, so hunting these types of techniques within your environment. So you're easily able to get that spreadsheet, execute these tests with Atomic Red Team, and then you're able to kind of go back and measure how good or how low your coverage is within your environment. So again, testing is super important. I'm just gonna hop up because this next one gets more cool. All right, so this is our Atomic Red Team landing page. It's just atomicredteam.io, and you can see all the different links. We have our philosophy on there. We do have a Slack group, so if you're interested in just talking to people who are using it, how everyone's using the product, and then also just for discussion about new techniques. And yesterday we do monthly webinars called Atomic Fridays. So yesterday we had our second Atomic Friday. So you can join in on these little webinars, learn. We're just talking about different techniques out there, what else is happening. I'm gonna drill in. This is what one of the techniques looked like. We broke everything out into YAML more recently, yet another markup language. So what YAML allows us to do is for organizations and other people to consume all of our logic that we've built into Atomic Red Team. And there are markdown files, which is what we're going to drill into next. This is T1117 on MITRE, and this is Redshift 32. We pull in all the description data from ATT&CK, the ATT&CK framework, and then you have the ability to kind of continue to down on that page. You see the different 3 tests that we provide for this. You can add as many more as you want, and that's a big contributor piece to this. This is highly community driven. We initially pushed this out with maybe 70 techniques built. The rest has been all community. I once had the community open an issue saying, hey, your guys' matrix is out of date. Because back in the day, we were updating the matrix by hand. Guy opens an issue and says, you need to update your matrix. They had pushed out like 30 new techniques, and we're just like, okay. I was on vacation, and Casey was just kind of staring at it, and I'm like, give me a minute. It's all manual. So anyway, the YAML helps out with all the automation of building these things out. Again, you can execute these through any kind of automation platform you have. You can literally copy and paste this into your command line, execute it. Did your AV trigger? Did your firewall detect that Mimikat's coming down? Did your any other product you can think of? Did anybody see this happening? And that's kind of the cool part. A lot of people think it's very endpoint focused. I always try to challenge you to look at it from the network side, because some of these things are actually downloading full payloads. And today, AV products are starting to just flag Atomic Red Team because there's a lot of interesting things written in there, right? It doesn't have to be hard. It could be just as simple as this tweet says it is. This is Keith, he's one of our co-founders. How do you approach testing? Just pick a technique, execute one of them, and just see what happens. He even produced like a simple little spreadsheet at the bottom of his tweet, and just make a simple spreadsheet and just start tracking it based on attack techniques, whether you detected it or not, whether any of your products saw it, did anybody tell you about it. Probably the most interesting is like if you have an MSSP and you go through running a bunch of different attack techniques, like did you get a phone call, did anybody email you about it, did you get tickets? More recently, we saw another vendor picking up Atomic Red Team, just somebody accessing the web page, not even downloading it. They're starting to flag people going to it. And it's not even, it's just a web page, you know, it's not evil yet. You can also level up your chain reactions. This is an RV I saw out in Nevada. You guys see it over here? This thing is awesome. It even has a trailer in the back, but I think he sleeps in here. It just rolls up. Super sweet. So what we call chain reactions is just the ability to take different parts of your techniques. So you want to run a PowerShell, you want to run regserve, you want to do some other things, some account enumeration, run some net commands, whatever it may be. It's just like putting Legos together, maybe like this RV, but it's just like this. This is a simple chain reaction. All we're doing is like a basic for loop, doing some account enumeration across the network. I'm going to take that, just generates telemetry, or traces as we call them. Then down here, we try to outline everything within the chain reaction so you know what you're getting. So the tactic is discovery, the technique is looking for different AV products, right? And this is generating just those traces, that telemetry within your environment. Are you looking for people enumerating your security software? Are you picking up the fact that somebody is querying your domain controller out there, running net use commands, pulling all this telemetry? Are you getting all those event logs? Are you getting all the failed logons and whatnot, right? Those are all very interesting points to be looking for. The other thing we recently pushed out was this roll the dice. You can use this with chain reactions. If you're just, I don't know where to begin with Atomic Red Team, I just want to do the copy paste method, super awesome. You can go to our Atomic Red Team IO, / roll the dice. Every time I think of slash, I think of Slash the guitarist for some reason. But go to roll the dice, you click the button, it'll give you a new technique of the day. You just keep clicking it, you'll get more and more. And then you can start building out your chain reaction in a batch file, PowerShell script. It's that simple. Or just your copy and paste method, and just run it and see what happens. Then, more recently, last few months, Casey and, just mostly Casey and a couple of other guys internally, built out the PowerShell framework for Atomic Red Team. It's called Invoke Atomic Red Team. This allows for execution and generation of the test from all the YAML files. So if you want to just generate all the tests, you can copy and paste them straight from command line, output to a text file, whatever you want to do. You can generate, or you can actually just execute. In this example, you just want to execute T1117, the regserve32 one. Executes regserve32, it immediately pops your calculator, and you can modify the test however you want to pop something else or actually run something different within your environment. So very easy to do with the PowerShell framework. There is also a Python framework that you can run. Very similar pattern. It'll generate the test and execute the test however you see fit. There are other products out there or other open source projects out there like Meta from Uber. Meta is another one that Chris Gates had generated, which uses, I think at the time he wasn't using our YAML files, but that was one of the main reasons why we went to YAML, so that he could begin to ingest them into his product. There are enterprise products out there as well. So if you want to do enterprise testing, you can deploy agents. Agents will execute everything for you. It'll pull back all that telemetry, very similar. So this is just the open source method, and you can see the community is really growing on it. So biggest thing is always be testing. We can't trust everything we hear. There's so much marketing out there in this industry, and if you go to more cons than this, you'll see a lot of it, right? So biggest thing is just trying, run it, see what happens. Write down what you have in your security stack, what you think should be alerting within your environment. Pull down some Mimikatz and just see what happens. Does anybody alert on it? And we're constantly pushing and publishing new things on different bypasses or just different ways to run parts of Atomic Red Team on our blog and whatnot. So highly recommend checking it out and join us. If you feel that there should be something added to Atomic Red Team, just add it. Do a pull request, ship it over, open a GitHub issue, tell us on Slack, whatever it may be. We're here to help. We are all atomic. So, but yeah, Atomic Red Team IO. Our Red Canary blog's down here as well. You can subscribe. They'll ship you our Atomic Red Team emails. But yeah, it's all there. And that's all I have for you today. Hope that was interesting.